So,
Meet
but
Donnie Dunagan, the voice of the child version of Bambi in the Disney classic Bambi. And this is a story to tell your grandkids. You got to talk to Bambi.
Very excited.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, thank you for joining us.
I have a surprise for you.
What is
Yeah.
it?
It wasn't the voice right away. I was a facial model and the action model. So, because the little deer in the forest, Mr. Disney knew, stood there like this, very calm. He wanted an animated deer. So he had seen my 7 movies before Bambi, and I was a little jerk kid with all that curly hair running around crazy. He says, I want my artist to see that kid and superimpose some of that action into this wonderful deer child named Bambi. And so I sat on a stool at least once a week, sometimes twice, for about 4 months, I think. And the artist would say, okay, Donnie, look excited, look left, hold it. Then say, look afraid, hold it. Oh, how about early in the film when Bambi does something dumb and he thinks he's dumb and he's in a thicket like this, feeling sorry for himself. Remember that? And little Feline, later his lady, sticks her head through the thicket and gives him a kiss on the cheek. Remember that? The art. I'm on a stool, right? I'm 5.5, maybe going on 12, not jaded, because I've been in 7 films, not in school yet, movies. All adults, not any children in my life, right? So one of the artists says, Donnie, look like something terrible has happened to you. Okay, so I tried. Not good enough. Finally, Mr. Disney's in the back of the room. I had a lot of time with him. Great guy. Not like a fancy dadgum executive washing around. He was a great guy. He's in the back of the room. Artist says, Johnny, we need you to look really sad and angry. Has your mommy spanked you, or has she given you something you didn't want to eat lately? A medicine? And I thought, oh my, yes. Yes, last week traveling, my mother gave me a double dose of castor oil.
Oh.
Yeah, another guy says, Donnie, you just had a double dose of castor oil. I went, ooh. So the next time you see that scene in the film where little Feline comes in and gives me a kiss, he hasn't discovered girls yet. Kiss on the cheek, he goes, ooh. We call that the castor oil scene.
How funny. That is such a good behind the scenes tip. That's awesome.
Well, so it appears that you've answered how to get involved with Bambi voicing the character, and you already answered what exactly was Walt Disney like to you. Now comes the next question. Did you know anything about the animation unit strikes going on outside the studio, or the sudden world war that the United States was about to be hurled into?
And that's my apologies to you. I'm not understanding the words correctly. Something outside the United States.
Well, he just wants to know if you were like aware with the events that was going outside the studio.
Oh, yes. Wonderful question. Wonderful question. Jordan, nobody in London, Boston, all over the place. I've had a lot of interviews. Nobody has asked that question. And I've asked myself a couple of times, why doesn't somebody ask that directly? I've had to volunteer that sometimes, okay? The answer is yes, yes, yes. Even as early as 1938, late 1938 and 39, working on Son of Frankenstein and some other films, Europe was coming apart. I had no chance to go to school. Universal Studios, okay, gave my mom a wonderful tutor. 2 different ladies tutored me. I was reading newspapers by 5.5, and thanks to the tutors, not to my ability. Okay, great tutors. I was butchering the European words, like Czechoslovakia. I'm sure it came out like checkmark, but I could read, and I'm very disturbed about the war. Roland V. Lee, who was the director in a couple of my films, Tower of London and Son of Frankenstein, and the very first one, a beautiful movie called The Mother Carries Chickens. And Roland V. Lee made sure that I had good tutors. And And when I asked him a couple of questions during breaks about the war, he gave me excellent briefings. He even brought a map in one time and put it on his lap in the studio, waiting for the scenes to get ready, and showed me where Poland was and some other countries, because I had no schooling. I had no idea. I was very concerned about it. A lot of people don't know this, and I hope I'm sharing a good secret with you. Mr. Disney, Walt, I had a lot of time with him and my mother. Wonderful man, a leader by example, not some pompous jerk walking around like the CEO, okay? When Pearl Harbor happened, he wanted to have Disney release a week or two before Christmas. When? 1941. What happened in 1941? Pearl Harbor, bang. No movie, modern movie, has ever portrayed how we really were, ladies, when we entered the war. The war is going on in Europe. It's crazy. It's terrible. We're seeing refugee films in black and white in the movie houses, children starving. Even that young, I remember being angry. Okay? It's a good thing I wasn't a boxer then. I probably would have boxed. It was really bad. You can't imagine. Anyway, when Pearl Harbor happened in December 7th of 41, Mr. Disney, I was in the room with several people, my mom, when he made a decision to postpone it till after we see how this goes. What goes? What? We're in the war. Okay. Can you imagine the mindset of that in those days? So he paused the release of it, and it wasn't released until the spring of 42. I was there north of Los Angeles in some valet, beautiful theater with searchlights going on. But that's a couple of months after Pearl Harbor. Now, this is what I found even some young executives in Burbank, California, did not know when we were out there as guests, 12, 13 years ago. Mr. Disney gave his beautiful operation, brand new buildings there. Disney, that he had built from scratch. I mean, a one-room scratch. He built the whole thing by himself. And with these wonderful artists he hired and found and hired, he gave Disney to what was called the War Department then, not the Defense Department, okay? To use it for training films, motivational films, and very frankly, for propaganda films, recruiting, war bonds. He made a lot of work. He did a lot of work for the war bonds. So the plans to do some other animations after Bambi were delayed. I'm sure, I don't know how many months, but were delayed, and it disturbed a lot of people. He never let anybody go. He kept everybody on to help with the War Department, and was respected keenly by everybody. I'll give an example. One day, my mom and I just pulled in, and we were probably in the wrong parking position. And we got out, and I saw Mr. Disney, who was getting out of another vehicle 20 yards away, go up in the building. And one of the maintenance workers was having a hard time turning some sign around. Mr. Disney left that entry, and he was going here, came back in, took off his coat, and helped that man move this sign. I promise you, on honor, ladies, the other studios I was in, when the big boss came around, all the workers, including some of the performers, would say, "Watch out, here he comes, watch out. Oh, there he is, oh my gosh, there he is, oh my gosh." What's that say about leadership, right? No good. This old 25 Marine combat commander will tell you that's no good, okay? Mr. Disney was a champion example, and I love Jordan for asking that question.
That's awesome. That's a really cool background history.
Oh, definitely it is. So obviously you gave us a pretty good example about what Walt did during the war. I mean, I already did a little thing with these ladies about World War II propaganda films that Disney himself produced. And then after the war, he was pretty much exhausted of just doing war stuff. He was also exhausted of his funds, I believe he was. And I believe he must have been exhausted too. So I'm not sure if you, I'm not sure if he quit acting after the war was over, but then again, I haven't gotten to the most important part about the movie. Turns out, regarding the film's most famous and heartbreaking scene, how did you even approach acting out Bambi in that one scene, or did you quit acting after the war was over?
And I think you're asking
Disney-
2 questions instead of one.
All right,
Disney,
maybe
then-
I should ask the one about regarding the film's most famous and heartbreaking scene, how did you even approach acting out Bambi?
This is a 2-part, brilliant question. 2-part answer. Okay. We were not as jaded then with boom, boom, bang, bang, shoot everybody, chop, chop. Okay. At the opening of Bambi, up in one of the valleys north of Los Angeles, and I was there. And my mom was there. My dad was working, always working, hard guy. And Mr. Disney was sitting over to the left, I think with his brother. I was never introduced to his brother, but I think it was his brother and some other nice people. And everybody recognized everybody. Then the Bambi started. And let me share this with you. Look at this contrast between our culture and violence and emotions and our sensitivities then and now. Okay. And this is not coming from some thumper guy. I've been in a lot of combat. I understand violence real good. Okay. Now here's 1942 spring, and Bambi is being shown the first time. There was a lot of children, I guess they were invited with special people and their parents there. And when Bambi's mother was shot, okay, I saw mothers put their hands over the children's eyes.
Oh,
Now, put that contrast to today with chop, chop, boom, boom, bang, bang everywhere, right? Huh?
Oh.
And then Bambi, 8 or 9 minutes later in the storyline, Bambi was shot and they did the same thing. Okay? Now, this is important. I found some real conscientious young people at Disney who did not know that it's not their fault they did not know this. This is history. I'm 88, I'm ancient, okay? When Mr. Disney saw what we would call the prep takes, okay? I was in the room when this happened the first time. When he saw what the artist had in motion on a screen in a room of about the size of a big living room, the artist observed the storyline perfectly and had the mother shot on camera. Bullet hole, blood, bang down, right? When Mr. Disney saw that, I'm sitting with my mom, maybe 2 rows to the right of back and to the right of Mr. Disney. This is not a verbatim, but pretty darn close. Mr. Disney says something like, calm that down. We don't need to see the bullet hole or the mother's blood. Calm that down. So the artist did. So when you see mother shot now, and then it's just a bang, she's down. The suggestion is obviously that she's been shot by a mean hunter, right? Same thing with Bambi. I wasn't in the room on that one, but I heard that Mr. Disney is holding things up. He wants that bullet hole out of Bambi. That's a great mark of his sensitivity. Right? Now, the other part of the question, movie. We never went to movies. We were just making them. 7 movies in a year and a half as a kid. Boom, 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 boom. Huh? I did not know what the storyline was. I had been a model looked like what was it? This terrible medicine. And now and then Mr. Disney had I should give this to you. My fault. Disney about 3 months or 4 months into the putting my action face and things into the deer. Mr. Disney took my mom and me to a routine lunch there at the new studio buildings. And this is almost verbatim. Very casually asked my mother, do you think Johnny could do the voice? Now that's how formal that was. Yeah, that's for at dinner, at lunch, and other people sitting there. And other people told this story at Disney later with great laughter. My mother sits there, very sophisticated, and my mother, a wonderful lady. Not as educated as I'm sure you are, but wonderful lady. Mother sits there, very sophisticated, like, sure, let's do it. Sure, let's do it. So when somebody says, how in the world did you ever get the job of the voice of Bambi? I said, my mom said, sure, let's do it.
All right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a deer. And I got to share this with Jordan before he throws me off my chair. I've never seen a deer. And it's up in one lady gave me a black and white drawing of one, as I remember. Yeah. But what's the deer look like? What's the deer look like? I made such a fuss about that probably that later they got a live, very young deer and brought him up with the studio lot with hay and some things. I never saw that or heard about it. But now I'm making what's the deer? What's the deer look like? Mr. Disney heard that. And to his wonderful character, he had a couple of his staff men, always well dressed, okay? Three-piece suits were very common in those days, and had one of his staff men and a driver. I take my mom and me to a nearby zoo to Burbank. And it couldn't have been more than half hour away, and a very small zoo, very clean. And we went in, people, they knew we were coming. And inside this little zoo, neighborhood zoo, in the area of maybe Glendale or somewhere there, there was a pit about 20 inches below normal, and very well done. A lot of flowers and things and plants. And there was one deer in the pit. Did not have antlers. Maybe, I don't know if it was female or male. Okay? And one deer. And here's the deer in that pit. Watch me. Now you know why Mr. Disney wanted to use me for the motions, right? Just like this. And I yelled at the deer. Deer wouldn't move. One of the men went to a little machine nearby, kind of a vending machine thing, and put some coin in and came up with some corn, a whole handful of corn, gave it to me, and everybody's laughing. I went over as close as I could on the rail there to this deer. And later on, I'm a pretty good football player, but this is my apprenticeship. I threw the deer down. I mean, threw the corn down, then right in front of the deer, right? I thought, boy, this guy's going to move, right? Here's the deer. Watch. Watch. That's it. Then I made the terrible mistake of saying to my mother, Mom, that guy's boring. I don't want to be a deer. Oh my. Oh my. Oh, oh, oh my. Those two wonderful guys that were escorts, they got back to the Burbank there, all of us. I know they went in and ratted me out to Mr. Disney. Because 2 days later, maybe 3, no more than that, I'm going down the hall. I hope where I'm supposed to go for a change. And I mind you, I'm 5.5, 5 3/4 or so there. And here comes Mr. Disney, maybe with his brother, coming down this big white hallway the other direction. And he sees me, and we've been together several times. He put his hand out to slow me down. We all stopped. He put his hand on my shoulder. Great guy. I remember him so well. He put his hand on my shoulder, looked at me and smiled and said, Donnie, you went to the deer and went to the zoo. Yes, sir. Did you like? Yes, sir. You see a deer? Yes, sir. He's not smart enough to say yes, sir, right? Mm. He looked at me and says, Donnie, don't worry. Our Bambi will not be boring.
Oh.
If my mother here says, I'm going to eat peanut butter for a week, you know, but she never heard about it.
Thank goodness. That's cute.
Yeah. I also heard they also had like their own fawn models that they were doing for the designs. I mean, they were both called Bambi and Feline, respectively.
Somebody help me with that. It's not this lady, it's the speaker. Somebody help me. These are real hearing aids I got in from concussions, hand grenades.
I've heard there was like a couple of fawn models that the animators were designing from. Their names were Bambi and Feline.
They were models of fawns in the studio. They had fawn models.
Yeah, they had like real deer.
That's still not my fault.
That's okay. They had models of real deer in the studio that they used to design from.
Well, they.
Oh, I got you. Excellent question. My fault. I've got hand grenade scars still on my hair up here. If I get bald, I'm going to be ugly. I mean, I've had concussions a couple of times, so these are real powerful hearing aids. My fault, ladies. If I understand the question is I'm gonna mess it up. I'm sorry. Somebody give me the question back another way.
All right.
But did you ever see the fawns?
Did you ever see the deers and the fawns that they use in the studio to model the animated characters out of?
Oh, okay, I got it. Forgive me. That's about third time I've said that. I probably deserve more.
Jordan?
Somewhere in the production, probably about the time I was doing a voice, okay, they brought a deer in, a real deer, and put it in a little enclave at the studio. And I heard several times there, everybody pampering that deer, taking good care of it, probably overfeeding it. And the artist, I did not see this, I heard this. The artist would go out and try to stimulate the deer to move. I heard about that, so they could have a better sense of drawing the legs and the body in motion. Okay. Oh, and this is really important. I have it where, oh, I've got it in storage. I'm sorry. I've got a copy of the original Bambi, the original book Bambi. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Part of my making a best of myself, I guess, about what's this all about? What's this all about, right? A very nice lady there, whose a name I never knew, took me into there's a photograph of this on Google, Donnie Dunagan Google. Took me into a little office, gave me a couple of the drawings, not in color, but the raw drawings of Bambi, and I have them in my lap. And then she read me part of the storyline of Bambi. I was fascinated, and I borrowed the book. And when I went to give it back, she didn't take it. Okay, and I've got that book. And the story is magnificent. Oh, and I hope you enjoy this too, ladies. I know I was there. I witnessed this. Okay, Mr. Disney, after Bambi came out, remember the forest fire scenes and the reckless damage and the animals being burned?
Yeah.
Mr. Disney insisted on those scenes being told just like in the book, and he got hate mail from hunting areas in the country where men were still not being malicious, still trying to hunt to feed their families. The depression is still going on big time. Okay, and men had to hunt in some areas to feed their families. But when Disney came out, that was probably the very first. I've asked some professors this, and they agree. That was the very first major movie in the Western world that made a point of environmental abuse, environmental protection. Okay.
Wow.
And he got some bad mail about it. Okay. Yeah. And this is really an interesting extra. I hope you enjoy. Incidental to that time, when he's getting hate mail, he had put my mom and me and another lady who I don't remember well in one of those huge limousines we had in those days. And we went to the Forest Service in Los Angeles. Now, not like it, I'm sure it is now. It was in a very old building and not anywhere near as appointed well as I'm sure they are now, because the Forest Service was very junior and the environmentalists didn't want to hear anything about the Forest Service. And we went in the Forest Service, and he offered Bambi as an icon, a first icon to alert people to take care of the forest. And they were going to do it. They were excited, super excited. And I was there. I remember one man, he looked like he was 1,000 years old, but he was very dynamic. And one man said that he was going to make a long distance call to Washington right away about it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Mr. Disney then offered to do all the artwork and all the initial pioneering of the signs as an effort for the war and to protect our forests. Okay? They were thrilled. That's very important. Then he started getting hate mail. And the image was that this is not a verbatim or a real story. I heard this story. The image was at the studio was that Mr. Disney, some granddaughter in Montana saw Papa getting ready to go out and shoot a deer for the meals. And she had seen Bambi in town, and this little girl may have said to her grandfather, "Papa, don't go out and shoot and kill Bambi." And that may have started all the hate mail he got, because he got a lot of it, right? From hunters. Okay? Anyway, after the hate mail got heavy, I heard, I wasn't there, I heard that he went back down, personally downtown Los Angeles someplace, to the Forest Service and volunteer to create another animal icon. And that's where the bear came from, Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear, yep.
Yeah.
That's where Smokey came from. No way.
Yeah, I was about to tell
Wow.
you that little story, but it looks like Donnie has told it for us. And of
That's
course,
awesome.
I guess you must have, I don't know how you managed, obviously, since you must have escaped, yeah. After you quit acting, you escaped you dodged a silver bullet, my friend. You were able to make a transition to a real world life, because not every child actor can make it into adulthood. I don't really hear much from the Olsen twins anymore. And
I understand the question. If I understand the question
Let
correctly,
me ask the question, George. I mean, how has your life been like after doing all the actings in the movies when you were younger?
I'm still not getting it. It's my darn fault.
oh yeah, so I think you might have quit acting in
Give me the guts of it again.
Did you quit acting in
It's
the
a speaker.
1950s?
Yeah.
You did.
Okay.
Quit acting in the
I think I know where you are. I think I know where you are, folks. Let me get this to you, and you correct me, okay? After Pearl Harbor, the country became like a zombie. We've never portrayed that correctly in any of our modern movies. And I remember this well. Families had trouble. Families broke up. People disappeared. Someone went into the service and didn't tell their families. It was not as polished as some of the modern movies would have you think. It ruptured my family. And then there were some deaths. I ended up on my 14th birthday week in a boarding house in Los Angeles, paying my own way from then to now.
Wow.
14 from then to now, and no exceptions, and supported a whole lot of people in the interim. I had, and I still went to school. I was skipped a couple of times, thanks probably to the tutors, not to my intellect. So I graduated from high school at 16. I had full-time jobs all the way through high school. Made the varsity team at age 14. Nobody had ever done that before. Golden Glove boxer. I love that for the athletics of it, not what we would imagine today and all the violence we have. And I boxed all the way into the Marine Corps boxing team years later. At 18 and a half, I got a great job, and I went around school a couple of years, and I wanted desperately to be a doctor. So I'm studying medicine on my own. I'm going to nice school. I'm probably cheating a little bit to get in, to be frank with you. And I get a draft. The Korean War is going on, madness. We don't have Eisenhower in there yet who stopped that madness, but the Korean War is going on. And I get a notice to go to the draft board. It's not to be inducted. I don't know that. I don't have anybody to ask. I'm in a boarding house, and I'm working. It was just for physical, and an initial screening. So I went to the draft. I got a towel around myself, a whole bunch of it standing in line to see a doctor up here at a table, and all we got were towels around us. This was in Los Angeles. Later, I commanded the same place as the recruiting commander. Okay, many years later. How ironic is that? Anyway, out of the door on the right, a big room, came a tree in dress blue uniform, a 6'2", 6'3" Marine Master Sergeant out of World War II. Right, he's a recruiter. I don't remember ever seeing anything like this before. Remember, my life was very shallow. Work, study. I see this guy come in. He's looking around like he's suspicious of something. He walks along the side of the wall, so the people up in the front on the tables can't see him. I figured that out later. Came up from behind me in line. And I'll never forget, the Marine Corps knows this, they've got to document it somewhere. He leans over, he's taller than me. I mean, a tree in uniform, okay? He leans over and he says, and he mispronounces my name. Are you Dugan? And I said something clever like my mother, right? Yes, sir. You still box? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Golden Glove. And you play football? Didn't you play football? So and so? Yes, sir. Son, quote, son, the Marine Corps got a football team, and we love boxers, and you'll get paid. Ah, key word was paid. Ding ding. Hey, I had no idea how much. Hey, he said, you come with me and I get you in the Marine Corps, and we'll save all this trouble here. I never forget that. Save all this trouble here. No, I thought I was being inducted, right? So I went with him, my towel. We stuck back. I got my clothes, got my shoes, went up in an elevator, a real slow elevator, about 2 floors. Yeah, about 2 floors. And 30 minutes later, I'm in the Marine Corps, hand in the air. Then they put me on a train the next day with over 30 other recruits going to famous boot camp in San Diego, and I'm in charge with a clipboard with all their names on. They were worried about their having misconduct on the train, and I was an old boxer. Yeah. Those guys were great, no trouble at all. We got all the way down to San Diego, got off the train, and later I became a well-known drill instructor and a combat commander. So, but this is my apprenticeship, right? I don't know anything about this, anything. All I knew was a football huddle. I said, all right, guys, let's huddle up here, right? And behind me came 2 more trees in drill instructor uniforms, not the fancy dress blues. 2 more trees, another pat on the shoulder, and this very strong, very large Marine gunnery sergeant said, give me that board, buddy, get in line. That was my prayer. I thought I got fired. I just got hired. I got fired already. And
Crazy.
I bet you Jordan enjoys this one. I went through boot camp. They tested me some extra times for all kinds of reasons. At the graduation ceremony of boot camp, a captain in a Jeep and a big sergeant picked me up at the graduation of boot camp, took me to the other end of that famous depot in San Diego, and put me in drill instructor school as a brand new PFC. I'd never been done before. PFC, drill instructor, you kidding me? I learned later I was an experiment. Now, this is really funny. I'm a lousy seamstress then and now, okay? I had been promoted to PFC the night before graduation, and we had a needle and some thread. I sewed my PFC stripe on, but it wasn't right. So now I'm reporting in, the Marine Corps loves this story. I'm reporting in the DI school as a PFC, right? I don't know any better. This first sergeant of DI school, you can imagine the honor of being the first sergeant of Marine Corps first DI school, right? He looks at my order and says, drill instructor, you can't be a drill instructor. You're here to be a clerk, right? Clerk, I'm not a clerk. You're a drill instructor, and you're a PFC. Looked at me, and on top of that, you're a crooked PFC, because my stripes aren't crooked. That got all over the place. I almost never got over that one.
That's funny.
A wonderful captain that was super decorated in World War II as a sergeant. A wonderful captain came out of nowhere and said, come down, top, come down. This is Donnie Dunagan, blah, blah, blah. He is going to be an experiment because we're short of drill instructors. And that guy's calmed down. Later, I promoted probably faster than I ever should have been. Later, when I'm a platoon sergeant myself at age 20 and a half, I got to know that old first sergeant. We became real good friends. But he never stopped teasing me about being a crooked PFC.
That's awesome. That's a cool life story that you have. Thank you for sharing.
You're most welcome. How much time do we have? I'm out of time here.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. So somehow your sergeant found out you were Bambi, but then what lesson could we learn about dealing with bullying or teasing from comrades or colleagues, even if we're all fighting against one common enemy?
Gosh, I wish I understood this better. I'm sure they're excellent questions, but I'm missing some of the words on this.
Okay.
You asked me
Well,
about,
I
you asked
just-
me about the war. You asked me about the war.
All right, so tell me how your sergeant or someone how found out that you were Bambi
Oh,
and called
I
you
gotcha.
Major
Yeah,
Bambi.
You said that to me. Thank you for saying that. But that never happened. Now, pick up on this real quick. Have some fun.
Mhm.
All the way through school, all the way through schools and schools and schools, and then the Marine Corps, 25 years, plus 11 years during the Cold War, counterintelligence, counter spy, loaned out to agencies in civilian clothes. Very interesting extra experiences. You have gray hair if I took your time to tell you about them all. Okay. Doing all of that, I never said a word about the movies. Not one word.
Oh.
Was I privately proud of some of them? When I thought about it, yes. Did I think about it often? No. I remember from 14 on, boarding house, it wasn't easy paying my bills and getting a car at age 15 and on, right? So I'm kind of an independent guy, and I never talked about the films. In the Marine Corps, a couple of times the old movies would come up, and I thought about it. Should I tell my commanding officer? Should I tell these guys about all those movies? But here's my conditioning. I saw men who could probably have done great service and a lot of achievements, okay? But they were slowed down by the extra names that they got associated with. Example, hey, did you know that that young Sergeant Brown over there, his dad was a congressman in Kansas? Oh, really? And it changed the relationship with everybody. Whether that young man didn't do anything to it. I saw that several times. And Bambi had not come out forever there. Okay. I asked a couple, I can remember being I'm back at now as a drill instructor again as a sergeant. Yeah, age 20 and a half. Think about that one, right? And I remember asking at least two people about where movies are being discussed. Hey, have you guys ever seen a movie called Bambi? Nobody has seen it. Hadn't been out for a long time, right? But the answers were, oh yeah, that's about some silly deer and a crazy rabbit. I heard that kind of thing several times. Remember, they hadn't seen it. So here's my mindset. No sergeant ever pick a general later nailed me. I'll get on that with Jordan in a second. Here's my mindset. I got a good Marine Corps career going. They're going to send me in a bridge case of law school. They're going to send me to this and this and boom, boom. Very unique. Suppose then there's some private or some corporal that reports to me as a senior sergeant or later as an officer. Boom, 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 boom. Suppose they found out about Bambi. They have never seen the movie. I thought they might write mom. I told the other troops too. Hey, mom, guess what? My commanding officer is Captain Bambi. Okay.
True.
I thought that ain't gonna work. Not in the Marine Corps. So I pushed my chicken button and never said a word until a month before I decided to retire. A wonderful general that had pulled me in from different places to be in his command named Houghton, Kenneth Houghton, a legend in the Marine Corps. Not a show-off guy, a real combat leader, okay? Kenneth Houghton. And he's my general, okay? And I'm in his command and I've got all these other duties. He called me in. Nobody knows, no sergeant ever did this. He called me in real early one morning. We're busy as it is on 1,000 things. And I'm still standing there. You normally just should be sit down. I'm still standing there. This is verbatim. Marine Corps loves this one. Mayor, I need you to audit the auditors auditing the PX. Now we had some hanky-panky going on in the PX. And so the authorities somebody had ordered a team of CPAs come in and audit this massive enterprise, right? And he wants me to audit the auditors. Now I'm an old numbers guy. I won't bore you with that one. I can eat audits, okay? Still can. Yeah. I got a million things going. I never talked back to him ever on anything. This came close. And fine, sir. And we're all very busy, right, sir? Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, sir. I'll have those civilian auditors in at 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow and I'll audit them. He looked at me. Dunagan, don't get smart. Uh-oh, this is a general, right? He never talked to me that way. Don't get smart. Once you audit those auditors. Silence. Then he reached over on the edge of his desk and there's a dossier, a big desk. There's a dossier there. I had not seen it, and had top secret on it, had my name on it. And I looked at it, and I looked at him, and that was the White House level ultra clearance. Okay, the FBI does, and others do. CIA does. When you're going to get a real special assignment, they take you back to birth. I mean, they know how to go back to birth. Okay, I did some of that later. Okay, so they had to know about the movies, right? Nobody in the Marine Corps knew, not even the commandant. He pats this dossier, smiles at me. I know I'm going to get stuck. Smiles at me and says, "You will audit the auditors for me, won't you, Major Bambi?"
Thank
Oh
you
my
for your
God.
service, young prince.
Busted, busted, I busted.
Busted.
But he retired the next month, and I did too. And he never said a word to anybody. I love him for it.
That's so good. Thank you so much for your service.
Young prince, yes, that's a dedicated Korean War veteran, Vietnam War, Cold War, whatever. But you're awesome either way, because we love Disney, and we are celebrating its 100th anniversary this year, and we want to celebrate everything that is good about Disney. And I want to, yes, there you go. She even has a stuffed, say hello to the stuffed Bambi.
Again, the battery, again, the battery signal on this thing, battery low. Can you still hear me?
I can hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
Yes.
I can't see anybody. It says battery low.
Oh,
No
man.
worries. Thank you so much for talking with us, and thank you for your service.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
stay
ladies,
tuned for the
thank you,
YouTube
and
release. I'm gonna do like a
Please,
special-
Mr. White, Jordan, thank you for putting up with my my hearing bad on this speaker. I hear much better face to face, I promise you.
I'm
No
high
worries.
functioning autistic, and so is
Thank you,
Sarah.
folks.
And we love Disney,
Mhm.
and we love animation in general. So that's why we have the club and all that stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a nice
you.
night.
All right.
Bye.
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 Oh.
There you go.
Bye. Bye, Donnie.
Bye, Jordan.
Okay, bye.